Hello my lovelies and welcome back to another video. Today I'm gonna play with the cheapest foundations below $6 or $6 and below that are also highly rated. Let's begin. And our top foundations are, starting from the most expensive, we have e.l.f. This is their Flawless Satin Finish Foundation and this retails for $6. And then we have Maybelline Fit Me. This is the Dewy and Smooth Fit Me foundation, and this one retails for $5.39. And the cheapest option by Wet n Wild is the PhotoFocus foundation in dewy finish, and this one retails for $4.79. Today I'm going to be playing with the Maybelline versus Wet n Wild since they're both have a dewy finish, and I want to see which one we prefer, which one lasts and wears most beautifully throughout the day. I'm going to first start with Maybelline Fit Me foundation, and I do like the matte formula, matte and poreless. The finish is beautiful. It wears like beautifully throughout the day. And this does have a tiny bit of a scent, but it's not super heavily fragrant. And the only negative for me about these foundations, it doesn't have a pump. So it's kind of, yeah, you can get a lot of product out of it right away. I got two shades. I got 115 Ivory and then 105 Ivory. They seem a little orange. Seems a little bit too light. So we'll try both shades out. Yeah, I'm just gonna mix the two shades. 115 Ivory, it's a little bit orange. Not a little bit, it's a lot orange. And then the 105 is a little bit yellow. So we're gonna play with them. And I am going to use a foundation brush first, just because it does have more of a dewy finish, and I like using a foundation brush for dewy finish foundations, just because they're a little bit more sheer, and I think they blend out a little bit better. Sponges don't soak up as much of the foundation. So this is definitely a light to medium coverage right away, but it's definitely buildable if it's comparable to the matte and poreless. It does have a little bit, it does have a 7, it's kind of strong. Yeah, it's very light. I would say definitely has like a lighter to medium coverage, but we're gonna build it up, see how much we can build it up. That was nice and easy. I'm just gonna take whatever's left on the back of my hand and just kind of go over some of these areas, kind of stipple it in there to get a little bit more coverage. Very easy to blend. Still feels very tacky and it definitely transfers right away. So I'm curious to see if this is going to set or am I gonna have to use powder throughout the day. But so far, it's not too shiny. It has a nice, very natural finish. A little bit of a dew, you can definitely see it, but it doesn't look super oily on my face. It's very youthful. I was looking on Target, and it says this is from ages 13 and up.
13 and up?
13 and up. I just thought that was really funny. I'm just taking whatever else I have left on the back of my hand. I really like this brush by e.l.f. This is their buffing foundation brush. Okay, I think that went on really nicely. What do you think?
Looks good.
It kind of evened out the skin really nicely. The colors work really good on the rest of my complexion. Kind of blend it into the ear since I'm wearing my hair up, making sure I blend it into my hairline. Like it didn't cover everything. I still kind of see my cheeks, a little bit of the pimple right here and right here. But otherwise, I think it really evened out the complexion really nice. So you can see a huge difference. And it's beautiful. I think the finish is very nice. It's sitting really nicely on the skin. So the next one, we're gonna take the Wet n Wild, and I also got two shades, Rose Ivory and Shell Ivory. Let's start first with the darkest shade. And this one has like a plastic little, like a spatula in a way. Yeah, it's a little bright. Oh, this one's actually very heavily fragranced. Feels very light. And I've also tried their matte formula with this. I've never tried the dewy version. Ooh, this one's very light. Okay. This one really smells like hairspray. The Maybelline one wasn't as fragranced. And I'm gonna take another foundation brush and we're gonna work that in. The shades are a little bit lighter on my left side. Also very easy to apply, very similar. I feel like this one has a little bit more of a dew. Well, actually not a lot more of a dew. You can see this one's a little bit more even. This one's just, look at that. I'm not hating it though. This one had really high reviews. We'll just have to add a little bit more bronzer on the side. Very easy to blend. And definitely, I think it looks really nice on the skin. Let me just look up close. I have a couple of dry spots and I feel like it's exaggerating it with the Wet n Wild on my left side. Around the nose, This side looks really good. Wow, I really like how the Maybelline looks on this side. Yeah, already I'm more happy with how the Maybelline is looking on my face versus the Wet n Wild. I just think it's sitting a lot better on my face. Going with concealer. Using e.l.f. 16-hour camo concealer and then the hydrating camo concealer. Man, I really like this sponge by e.l.f. It's so good. It's so bouncy but dense. Okay, I just did my eyebrows. Now I'm gonna do mascara. Just applying a little bit of mascara primer by Marc Jacobs. Still one of my favorites, you guys. While the primer is kind of getting tacky, if you guys can hear, Emma is laughing in the background. She thinks Daddy's funny. We're gonna apply some bronzer, some blush, and some highlight. We're gonna first go in with the Flower Bomb by Flower Beauty. This is a nice blush. One of my favorite formulas for like a liquid cream blush. This color is so stunning. For bronzer, I'm using my Surat Beauty. One of my favorite bronzers. And I'm mostly just like stamping these products onto the face. I find that it blends in the best. And especially that it's a dewy finish, I want to make sure I'm not really moving too much of this product around. I'm going to add powder blush this time by e.l.f. This is Always Cheeky. It's a beautiful matte blush, very pigmented. Finish off my mascara, Maybelline Lash Sensational. And then for highlight, Bobbi Brown in Pink Glow. It's just such a pretty highlight. Just gonna go over that with the foundation brush, kind of on top of that highlight. Make sure it's all kind of blended together. This is by Winky Lux in shade Cream. I think it's a pretty fall color. Honestly, I'm very happy with how everything is sitting on top of both of these foundations. I still prefer my right side overall. I think it looks very beautiful and it's not kind of sticking to those drier patches, even though it's supposed to be a dewy finish, very kind of fresh foundation. It's still the Wet n Wild side. It's kind of sitting on those dry patches and kind of exaggerated them, especially right here where I have that texture and it's a little bit dry. I have that texture right here as well and it's dry, but it looks honestly pretty good. Yeah, I think honestly it's looking really good on both sides. I'm just looking at my forehead. I'm not going to powder that. I want to see if it's going to stay very similar or if it's going to be really shiny at the end of the day, because so far I think it looks very fresh, it looks very youthful, and I like the finish of both of these foundations. They're still a little bit tacky, but honestly they both set pretty well. A little bit more tacky right here. It feels good around the bronzer and the blush side, but if you kind of set it in place with powder, I think you'll be good to go. But I don't want to set these foundations just because I really like how the finish is, and I don't really like to set like dewy foundations unless it's super dewy, but I think they look really good, both of them. Yeah, I'm really happy with how it's looking and wearing so far. I'll see you guys at the end of the day. I think I'll do one update during the day and then I'll do one at the very end of the night right here in front of these lights. All right, I'll see you soon. Doing the first update, and I wanna say, honestly, still looks really nice. I'm sitting outside and trying to see how shiny I look, and it looks really good. I'm looking through the front-facing camera, so that's why the quality is not as great, but everything looks still pretty smooth. I'm gonna get you guys up close so you can really see the texture that I was talking about, like right here. See how dry that looks? I feel like on this side, it's kind of exaggerating the pores on both sides, but kind of from like far away, they both look really good. Very similar on both sides. I think they're still wearing really nicely, and I did wear a mask. So everything, the nose still looks pretty good, the chin looks pretty good. Still pretty happy with it, honestly. I'm just happy that I'm not looking overly shiny where I feel like I need to touch up my face. Like the forehead, I still look very fresh, very natural, radiant, but not oily. So I'm really happy with how the makeup is looking so far. Last and final update. Honestly, it doesn't look bad. I can definitely see my forehead being a little bit more shiny, and then I look a little bit dry right here around the mouth area like I was when I first applied it, but it's a little bit more exaggerated now, and I feel like my pores on both sides are really kind of very exposed. They're out there front and center. Honestly, the only thing I would do is take a little blotting sheet right here in the center and then maybe powder a little bit to kind of get rid of that extra shine. But honestly, I think it looks pretty good considering that it wore the entire day and wearing the mask, taking a walk outside. It was like in the 80s today, so it was a little bit warmer. But yeah, I'm actually pretty happy with how both of them wore, but I think the Maybelline Fit Me, the dewy one, wore a little bit better in my opinion, just because it's a little bit more even. It didn't have those super dry spots in the beginning. That's what I have to say. I think my right side looks a little bit more flawless and even. This is their Flawless Satin Foundation that's oil-free and it has medium coverage. I did pick up 2 shades. I picked up 120 Pearl. This one has neutral undertones along with 150 Alabaster, neutral pink undertones. I am neutral, but I have a little bit of pink undertones in my skin. So I'm just gonna hopefully use both of them. Wow, that's thick, my goodness. Kind of smells like something from the bathroom. That's very light. I guess I'm just gonna put that right into the center parts of my face, and then we'll use this on the outside. Honestly, this shade right here, the Alabaster one, 150 is not bad. I hope this doesn't freak out my face. Okay, for the amount that I use is definitely a light to medium coverage right now. You can definitely add a little bit more coverage with the brush. Honestly, it's not horrible. It's just the scent and it feels heavy. I'm gonna kind of go over with the sponge, maybe to get rid of some of that thickness. I actually don't mind the complexion on my face. The only thing is I did not like how heavy the foundation felt on my face when I was first applying it, and it is still a little bit tacky even after I did powder a little bit here and there. The only thing so far I'm seeing with the foundation what it's doing is, because I kind of layered it in certain spots, it's looking a little heavy, cakey, and it's separating a little bit already. But everywhere else, I think the finish is beautiful. It has that beautiful natural satin finish. And yeah, you guys, I'm pretty impressed. Probably just do maybe one more check-in and then the very end of the night check-in here in front of the lights to see how everything kind of wore together throughout the day. You guys, I have no idea what's going on in my forehead. But wow, it looks like I have oil on my forehead. It looks oily and it looks dry at the same time. It looks super dry right here. It looks oily right here. It pretty much disappeared on my nose. I don't even know how. I did wear a mask, so it rubbed off. That would make sense. But the foundation and the concealer right here started cracking a tiny bit, but even the concealer is wearing really beautifully with this powder right here. Okay guys, I'm gonna end it here. I think all of these 3 foundations have their pluses and minuses. I already gave you guys the updates. I gave you guys what I thought. And I think these 3 are really great options, but keep in mind all 3 of them have some type of fragrance. The worst one for me was definitely the e.l.f. Cosmetics. This one and the Wet n Wild, these ones are very highly fragranced, so if your skin is very sensitive to fragrance, it might not be the best option for you. If I were to choose between the 3 foundations, in my opinion, the Wet n Wild and the e.l.f. foundation, they didn't wear as well as the Maybelline. It's definitely not the perfect foundation, but I think it wore beautifully throughout the day. It's not super shiny everywhere. Like, both of them are not ridiculously shiny. It didn't make me look extra oily throughout the day, which is a huge plus for both foundations. But I feel like this one kind of outweighs the other 3 in my opinion. Just in finish, the texture, the way it looks on my skin. But again, it's not perfect because it does kind of exaggerate some parts on my face, like right here where I have a lot of texture. But for now, you guys, please share your favorite foundations that are $6 and below, your favorite brands, what kind of finishes you guys prefer. But for now, I'll see you in the next video very soon.